Hi everyone, I'm doing a video review of one of my favorite guitars. This is a DC747, a Carvin. I wanted to do some videos kind of like Steve from Boston because since I've gotten like a job and stuff, I've built up my guitar collection again. And I just kind of wanted to go through my guitars because I have a really good crop right now that I've built up. And this is one of my favorites. So it's a DC747. Just go through the specs for you. It's got mahogany body wings with a 5-piece mahogany and maple neck. A pretty nice bird's eye maple fretboard. That's really cool. It just like looks awesome. And I've done some upgrades to it. I've put this string tree on here because the hardware on the for the tremolo system leaves a little bit to be desired, and I had the screw, one of the screws strip out for the lockdown pads, and I just wanted to put this on there so it puts less upward pressure on the screw, so it's less likely to strip. But I got some higher quality like steel screws to put in here, so I don't think they'll be stripping anytime soon. And I also upgraded the bridge. I found a good deal on this bridge locally for $100. Normally they go for a lot more. All I had to really do was sharpen the knife edges, so yeah, I guess the person just didn't want to sharpen their knife edges anymore, but it works great, you know. And I had a local luthier redo the route. I had him expand the route a bit, deepen it, and deepen the part where the arm goes in so it actually fits in there. That's actually one of the downsides about Carvin's good craftsmanship, because all their routes are so tight that, you know, it kind of makes it hard to replace the hardware at all. And they really should have used a better tremolo system on these earlier 7-strings. Nowadays, they don't even offer Floyds anymore, but for a while there, they were offering the 1000 series of Floyd Roses on their 7-string models, which is a lot better. I just wish they would bring back the 7-strings for Kiesel, or the 7-string Floyds for Kiesel. And I also upgraded the bridge. This is well, it's not really an upgrade because everyone likes to bag on the Carvin electronics, but they're really quite good. I just wanted to upgrade the bridge pickup because I wanted more output because I'm a death metal player. So, but the stock C26 pickup that came with this and the bridge was actually really nice, and I kept the single coil and the neck pickup because they're actually really nice too. Although I'm not the best judge of like neck pickups and stuff because I'm not really much of a lead player. But anyway, let me play some riffs for you so you get to see what it sounds. And first of all, let me show you the amp I'm using. I'm using my PV5150. It has Eminence speakers in it, and so it's got a Swamp Thing and a Governor. So let me play some riffs. Just a quick side note, I'm not going to be really testing the neck and middle pickup because I'm not, like I said, I'm not much of a lead player, but I will do the split sound, which is really awesome. I don't know, I'm just going to be chugging away if I keep playing on it. But it sounds really nice. I really like the amount of tonal diversity coming out of this with the 5-way switch and the 2 coil splits. You know, it's just a really nicely well-designed guitar. And the craftsmanship is really top quality. And Carvin does a lot of little things that I like with their build quality. Like one of the things that I really enjoy is if you're modding the pickups all the time, they actually put brass inserts in the control cavity so that you don't strip out the wood when you're removing and reinstalling the cavity cover for the electronics. But unfortunately, it doesn't really make much sense, but they didn't do that for the tremolo cover, because this is something you're going to be removing and messing with a lot more often, you know, because every time you want to change string gauges, you're going to have to get back here to counteract the new tension of the strings, and this is something that's going to be coming off much more often. But it's really not that big of a deal, you know, because it's really only a positive that they put this on here, but I kind of wish they did it for the tremolo cavity cover too. I wonder if they do that nowadays under Kiesel. I hope they do, but, you know, you never know. And another thing I like about this is the really nice volute they put on here. Nice touch. The build quality is just fantastic. Their cavity routes are really tight and really clean. Like you can see on here that, you know, it's just really tight for those pickup cavities, you know, which is kind of a problem on these earlier 7-string models and earlier, well, actually, no, just on the 7-string models, because they're hard mounted. And when I was installing the DiMarzio, I had to file down the edges of the base plate for the DiMarzio, which thankfully was pretty easy, because on the DiMarzio base plates for the 7-string models is made out of plastic, so it's pretty easy to just file down, but it will hurt the resale of the pickup if you ever want to resell it. But I don't think I'm going to resell it, because I really like the way it sounds in this guitar. It just sounds like super heavy, super punchy, and really thick, and like, you know, it gets that kind of Morbid Angel tone that I really like. But yeah, talking about the frets are actually really, really nice. They're rounded pretty well. None of them stick out, like absolutely none of them. And I can get pretty low action on this guitar, even though it's used. So whoever had it before me took pretty good care of it. And it's just, out of the box, it was just an awesome player. I just upgraded some of this stuff because I kind of wanted to, because this is a guitar I like enough that I'm willing to dump money into it. You know, upgrading the bridge, just because I want like the best quality guitar I can get out of this, because it's just so awesome, you know? Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, like I was saying earlier, everyone likes to bag on the Carvin pickups, but I actually really like the C26 pickup. It was really nice. I originally had a DC747, which I bought from Guitar Center used for about $625. And that guitar was pretty similar to this, but not exactly. It had a mahogany body and neck, although it was only a one-piece neck. It had a flame maple top, which was really beautiful, but it had black burst edges, transparent blue, an ebony fretboard with no inlays, kind of like this one, except ebony. It had just the fixed bridge, and a nice feature about it was a gloss finish on the body and a satin finish on the neck, so a hard satin finish that showed the natural wood, which was really pretty, and the flame maple headstock overlay it had on it. And it was a really nice guitar, and it sounded really good. Whoever had it before me put a Nazgul and Sentient in there, which sounded really nice. And when I let me go through the story of why I wanted to get a Carvin 7-string. I had an RG7620, an Ibanez, and I really wanted a neck-through 7-string. So I was looking around on the used market, and I saw that, and I saw this one first. It was on Guitar Center used for like $800, and there was no way that I could afford that. You know, I couldn't justify spending $800. So Guitar Center used had that 727 with the flame maple top for like $625, and I could afford that. I really loved it, and it sounded really good, and it played really well, and it had super low action. But a couple of the things I was dissatisfied with about it was the fact that it didn't have a Floyd, because I just like having tremolos on all my guitars. And I really loved, like, it was a beautiful guitar, but I think the finishing could have been a bit better. There weren't really any problems with the, like, no defects or anything, but I just don't like the way that Carvin does their burst finishes, because it was really dark and it covered up most of that beautiful flame maple top. and the transparent blue was pretty dark, so it was hard to see the grain, you know, unless you're in the light, you know, and like really good like sunlight, like good lighting, it would only show up then. And you know, for a $250 option, you know, I think the person who ordered it should have like put a little more research into how Carvin does their burst finishes and stuff, because it could have popped so much better. But you know, what ended up happening is I traded that guitar in for this one, because Guitar Center has a 45-day return policy on their used gear, and I saw this one. I was just, you know, doing my usual guitar searches that I do all the time, and I saw this guitar, the one that I really wanted, because I just love maple fretboards, and it dropped down to $600, and I was able to, and it was like, I only had a couple days left on my 45-day return policy, so I ran over to Guitar Center the following morning, and I returned that guitar, and this one was $25 cheaper, so I didn't have to pay anything to have them ship this to my local Guitar Center, and I don't regret it at all. This is just such an awesome guitar, and even though that other guitar had upgraded pickups with the Seymour Duncan set, the Carvin pickups actually sounded better, believe it or not, which is really cool. And I could have just left it stock, you know, but I just wanted to dump some money into this guitar to make it even better, you know, because one of the drawbacks of these earlier 7-string models is that those, the metal that they used to make the licensed Floyd Roses was soft, and I could see like divots or like dents in the metal where someone had over tightened the intonation lockdown screw. So that just showed me that this just was not like the highest quality hardware for a floating bridge. And also I had that problem with I had to replace all the lockdown screws for the nut because one of the screws stripped out. So Kiesel and Carvin had moved on to a Floyd Rose 1000 system, which is also made in Korea. I think their bridge system was made in Korea, an original licensed system, but the 1000 series is much better. But I don't think they even offer it anymore. I hope they bring it back for the 7 strings, the Floyd Roses. But yeah, they're really great guitars, and if you can find a Carvin 7-string, even the ones with the Floyd Roses, which they're not the top quality stuff, but I never had any problems with it staying in tune. It might be worth just replacing like the screws up here and the intonation screws back here, because they can have a tendency to strip out. So that's really the only warning I have for it. But I never really had a problem with mine staying in tune. When I sold it, the knife edges were still pretty good, so maybe the base plate was steel, but I'm not too sure. There's really not a whole lot of information out there about them. But whatever. This is just a really awesome guitar, and yeah, if you can find one used for a reasonable price, I recommend you pick one up, because they're just really top quality, and I really like this one. And every Carvin I've played has been a nice guitar, so thanks for watching.